There she goes. Anybody want to buy a Honda? Alright, so we have this thing to work on today. It's Saturday now. I said I've been doing it, so I had to schedule this one. We got to get some parts ordered, a few sensors, but this is what it's raining right now, so what we're going to do, I need to get this thing jump started, drive it around, up, down, and back through. So this has a G56 in it, and we got to get it running. So I'm going to go get it started with the jump packs, drive it up around. It doesn't stay running, it kind of loses its prime. So we have a couple of things to deal with that, but like I said, we got to put 2 jump packs on it because 1 was not enough. So I'm going to get fired up and I'll bring it into the shop and I'll show you guys what we're dealing with. All right, so the batteries are dead as shit. So are both jump packs. So I had to recharge both of them. So it took about an hour before I was able to do anything to get this thing in here. But the main goal, none of the gauges work because I'm assuming the PCM isn't hooked up. I did see a few grounds that weren't. I'll show you how this one was done. Very nicely done swap, I would say, but it does need that last 10%. So you can see, here's the wire harness for like the injectors and stuff like that. Here's a few grounds up here that need to be hooked up. The PCM is technically grounded through the engine. I'm gonna add a ground to make it complete. So we also need to add a coolant temp sensor, and I can see some things are gonna need extended and whatnot. So we need a coolant temp sensor and we need an oil pressure sensor. Those are the 2 things I can't do. But the crank sensor, let me go grab a thing so I can lay on it to show you guys. There's a crank sensor and a tone ring already done. So we're gonna get under here. I'll show you what's going on. So that's the first thing I'm seeing. I'll show you guys. So if you can see it, I think that is way too far away. So I'm gonna have to make some adjustments on that. Maybe get rid of a little of the spacing. But for the tone ring to work, I'll need to get this closer, in other words. But besides that, it's a really good design. Uses the 2 bolts down there, custom bracket, and it's tied in right there. I'm getting rained on from all the shit under here, but you get the point. So we'll get all that taken care of. I'm gonna get it a little closer so we have a tone ring. It's not just that as our problem. None of the gauges work at all. So assuming PCM is just not hooked up in general, like it's all plugged in and whatnot, but it's not actually hooked up all the way, like grounds and shit. So I believe that's for the FCA. We're not gonna need that. So I'm gonna go through this wiring, figure out what everything is. Our 2 grounds right there, those are gonna be necessary. And because there's a few pins. That guy's not hooked up. I know where that goes. I believe that's on the other side. So if we need to extend anything, but all in all, truck is super clean. You guys can see down there. Block. Yeah, there's a fuel shutoff solenoid, and not the shutoff solenoid, but mechanical shutoff and shit. So we'll get all of that. Truck does not stay running for a long time, and it definitely loses its prime. So what I'm thinking is there's probably an air leak introduced somewhere. Like I can see right there's a line, and then it goes to another one and another one. Great way to introduce air leaks, as we found out with my brother's truck. So electrical stuff is never fun, which is pretty much what we have to do. But I got the 2 things. I got the ground hooked up from there, and then this little connector down here. I'll show you that guy right there. So that's all connected. And then I got the ground underneath the ECU, made sure everything has power. I'll show you guys what's going on. So here's the oil pressure sensor. So we'll save that. We're actually gonna extend that. And then here's the coolant temp sensor. So we're gonna get that on order as well at some point. Everything that is not being used is in this little loop right here. I just pulled this connection out here, cleaned up all the terminals and whatnot. There is 1 wire that's bare I'm gonna have to fix. But there was, you know, a pretty okay amount of corrosion in there. So we're cleaning that out, clean out the TIPM. But look, judging by the TIPM, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the underside is pretty shitty. So I'm gonna pull the TIPM out and check this thing out and see just how bad it is underneath. see if that's something we're going to have to replace or see if it'll still work. But there is a lot of corrosion in the electrical connections. Okay, I think that one's going to be savable. We'll check and see the TIPM, make sure that it is going to be savable. Hopefully it is. If not, I mean, they're pretty damn expensive. We'll get that pulled out. Also, I noticed one thing. The fuse was in the top on these. I'm not sure how these, I'm pretty sure that the top and the bottom are separate. So you have to actually use 2 fuses in these. So any one of these that had it in there, I'm pretty sure if I check that with a multimeter, the bottom 2 holes and the top 2 holes, the only one that lines up is the powered side. And then the non-powered side, these 2 will be separate. So if you're gonna put these in, you have to put the fuse in the bottom hole in order for it to actually energize that specific fuse spot. And then the top one will be used for this one. All right, well, that's not a good sign when you start seeing dirt come out of the TIPM. So we're gonna keep pulling, we're gonna pull all the connections out and see how they are, but yeah, look at that. That's not a good sign. That's not what I want to see. Definitely a cause for electrical concern. So, like I said, I'm gonna clean it up as best I can. Electrical grease, all the bullshit, and try my best to salvage it if this is the problem. So, yeah, I'm gonna get all that bullshit out, spray it out with some compressed air, some electrical shit, pull all the fuses out, pull everything out, clean it. Let me know what your guys' opinions are. But all of these were pretty, pretty crusty. So I've since sprayed some stuff in there to kind of try and clean the shit out. There's still corrosion. I don't have any PB blaster on me. We have electric cleaner and multi-purpose lubricant for, for electrical grade shit. So that's what we got right now. But I'm gonna, do my best, spray this out with some compressed air, and then we'll throw it back in. Hope it works. If not, we'll keep looking. If not, I do have a used TIPM that we can try just to see if it works. But I'm also, before I throw this back in, I'm going to pull all these fuses and try to clean all of this shit out because it's all pretty bad. All right, so I pulled everything out, all of the fuses. The ones that are kind of raised up, I put a Sharpie mark on, this one here. So we're missing 4 20 amp fuses for one, which they're not super important right now. That's not what I'm focused on. Just making that mental note for you guys and myself. So pretty much we got the TIPM back in. It was all cleaned out. I made sure to spray the crap out of it with some silicone and PB blaster, all that bullshit. Here's the problem. Okay, watch this. We turn the key on. Oh, I guess this is off. Yep, this is off. Let me turn the jump pack back on. Okay. Oh, I don't know what that was, but it's saying no bus. But, okay, that was weird. What was that? Shouldn't be fuel or return, or there shouldn't be a fuel pump. The lights come on. Well, actually, that was something else before. I don't think we had working headlights. I'm not sure. There's definitely some electrical gremlins. I got the power and ground for this guy here. That's installed over there. Throw that back in your home. That's back. And other than that, we're gonna have to check that TIPM out. But everything has the power and ground that it needs to, but it's definitely leading towards a TIPM failure. So I'm gonna get this light shut off. I see something here. So if I turn this on, let's go check and see if we have lights. Aha, we don't. So that's telling me that, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're having a TIPM problem here. Like, you get little electrical gremlins like this. I don't know what he's got hooked up back here. No, he did not. I got to wire all that in. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a 2-day project. No No lights up here. Turn that off. Well, that's red. Yeah, so the fuel pump does work though, but we don't want the fuel pump to work because, as you guys can see, there's a sump. So I'm gonna have to go and unhook the fuel pump at the very least. But what's throwing me off is that the fuel pump should not be turning on. But we do need the fuel pump for the fuel level. So I'm gonna come in here. Fuel pump relay is 61. 61 is this one here. Get rid of that. Now we should have no fuel pump. That's what we want. We don't want that fuel pump doing anything. Yep. So yeah, leading towards a TIPM. That's what we're getting out of this whole thing. And like I said, we'll check that out. We'll go get some fuses. We got to order some parts and everything, get it all in. The truck itself does run and drive, obviously because it's a manual transmission and because it's mechanical. It does run and drive when you jump pack it, but nothing works. No gauges, no alternator, none of that shit. Nothing works. Gotta love it. We'll get that figured out. Like I said, I'll be coming back to this thing tomorrow. All right, so we got the new TIPM in. Look at that shit. That fixed a couple of issues, but it did not fix all of the issues because, okay, so I pulled the instrument cluster out itself, cleaned everything up back there. There was a lot of dirt, mud, corrosion, all that bullshit. So all that stuff's taken out, cleaned out all the bullshit. I also found, you see these 4 wires right here. Here was the connector. So this side was great. This side was not. One of the wires was completely broken off in general. Now that problem fixed our turn signals. So I can come over here. Now we have turn signals. Okay. We have a bunch of other lights. Now we still have the no bus code, which we're still working on and figuring that out. But headlights are on for some reason. Let me see. I forget what, I don't think the flatbed's wired in at all. But I'm gonna turn the key off. And yeah, so there's the other problem. No headlights. But we do now have working turn signals, so we're slowly working through and figuring out all of the electrical gremlins that the thing has been having. So between the TIPM, all that corrosion, this wiring here, which I'm going to clean a lot of this up that I can, but I'm going to be going through and checking all of the connectors. I know I have a couple of wires on this guy to fix. You can see there's one bare exposed wire up there. So I need to go through this whole harness, verify, make sure what is good, what isn't. I'm going to hang this back up in its factory location, which is right here. A lot of stuff that I'm going to have to go through because this whole harness here, like you can see all that. So I'm going to go through this. Anything that is bare exposed wire, I'm going to fix and I'm going to loom. Make sure that we still have a good harness and whatnot. So we're also going to have to check. There is connectors, you know, down back here. I'm going to have to check. Hopefully it's something easy and nothing crazy, but there you go. That wire harness also takes an issue every now and again, but yeah, we'll get all this stuff cleaned up and keep going, and I'll show you guys as we progress and show you all the issues. But that one over there, you can see all the, this is just a little bit of what came out of that one there. So like all the corrosion and mud and shit, and just fun. Electrical jobbies are never fun. But yeah, so like harnesses like this, like I was telling you guys yesterday, I'm gonna have to extend this, but this is just a 1 wire. You can see in there, it's just a 1 wire connector for the oil pressure. So super easy. That one will be easy, but figuring out the other electrical gremlins and repairing these harnesses and shit, that's gonna, you know, that's gonna get a little time consuming. So I got everything obvious fixed, repaired a lot of the wiring, took care of and reloomed everything that's, you know, bare open, like stuff like that, that I had the loom for. So a couple of things I've found. Well, one major thing I've found is keys on, still says no bus, but it's connected down here. No communication is key on. Ensure scanner is connected. Retry. So basically, I can't even get the connector, or I can't get this, snap-on box here to even connect to the truck, which is telling me that even though all of the electrical problems, the obvious electrical problems, have been taken care of, there's still more. We know that connector was broken. I've repaired a couple other wires. You can see that one right in there. I had to repair that one. I'm going to tidy everything up as soon as, once everything's figured out. I'm not going to, permanently throw everything back together to then have to take it all back apart. So it's all going to stay a mess until we're done. I want to do something with this mess right here. Maybe make a nice little tidy spot, tie it up, get rid of it, seal it off, whatever. TIPM, replacing this fixed a few minor issues that were very obvious. Fixing that connector gave me my turn signals because I didn't have turn signals. Unfortunately, nothing was labeled, but one of these two is a coolant temp sensor. I just need to get the wiring code and figure out which one is. I can't remember, but one of these is a coolant temp sensor. I don't remember exactly what this one is here, so I'm gonna have to look into that. This connector here, the plastic was snapped. This literally just pulled out, no problem. The little clip that's supposed to come across right there and grab, it no longer does that because even though the clip comes across, it doesn't grab because the little plastic tab's broken. So that's done. We have grounded out what needs to be grounded. That's grounded. This wire here, that also has its regular power and ground from the TIPM. So that's all taken care of. All the connectors are cleaned out and good at this point. This guy up here. All right, electrical nightmares. Even more fun. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. So I'm gonna pull all of this stuff out and redo all of that. That one right there is definitely broken. So I'm gonna go through all this and pull this whole harness out. I don't know exactly what this harness here goes over there somewhere, but yeah. So who knows? Let's just get this whole thing pulled out and then redo these things here. So fun. So I was messing with this harness, right? So we got these 5. I got to repair one more yet. And then this wire just pops out of nowhere, okay? Just chilling in there. So I'm like, all right, let me peel this back a little more. Boom. I had to pull some tape off to find that. But this wire was here, and this other wire was hidden in here somewhere. So that's a big issue. We're going to connect all that. I just need to repair this one right here that's crushed. And we'll go from there. Then we're going to relume everything and go from there. But boom, there's another one. All right, let's see here. Grab the key. See what we got. Still no bus? Yep, still no bus. But let's see if we can communicate. Let's see if that fixed any issues. Auto detecting. I can't tell you the amount of wires I've fixed already. It's been probably 15 of them. Still not going to connect, which means that we still have issues. We still have issues somewhere, but we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to start peeling this whole harness back and just looking for broken wires because that just seems to be where we're at this point. It's in between this harness here and this harness that comes all the way back around into this, which goes into this, which splits off into this. So just gonna have to keep going at it, but mainly this guy here is a pretty important one as well. We shouldn't be getting a no bus code. All those wires are exposed and bare down there, so we know none of them are damaged. It's the ones that are in the loom that I need to worry about. If you guys have electrical issues on your shit, this is a very, very time-consuming process. So we'll just keep going. All right, we're gonna call it for the day. I've got 14 wires repaired. The TIPM saved a couple issues. This thing had a pretty gnarly parasitic draw as well. We'll see if that's taken care of. Pretty sure it should be. And then the 4 wires that were up there, that little connector that I showed you guys, should be in here. Yeah. So this little connector gave us our turn signals back. So now we had a couple other things, but now we're at the point where it's like, yeah, it still says no bus, but everything works now other than the connection to the PCM. So we're gonna come back at this next week. We'll see what we can figure out about this. I do have a spare PCM and spare, what do you call it? Instrument cluster, which I'm thinking that this is more towards PCM side at this point, because it's not even connecting to the PCM, whereas before, before nothing was working at all. So now we at least have that stuff. So the main focus is, let's get the electrical stuff situated so we know that everything works, and then we can start messing with the flatbed and all that stuff, because if we can't turn the lights on, then I can't wire all this stuff up. So, which this shouldn't be all that bad. It's just, we need to get the main thing focused on first. Like, you know, getting the alternator to charge, I think, is pretty important. So this is it. I'm gonna back it out and fire it up for you guys, and get it back over there in the corner. So hopefully it starts up. And oh yeah, that's right. So this thing also has a pretty gnarly air leak for fuel wise. So it loses its prime even when it's running. It's sucking in air, kind of like Josh's truck was. So as I was saying, it's a little bit of an air leak. It's sucking in air, so it's losing prime while it runs, but I was able to prime it right there. Hopefully it starts up. Looks like it's got pretty much a stock exhaust modified for this setup, but oh, there we go. Fuel shut off right there. Now we'll see if she runs. Look at that, she fires right up. You guys like it backwards? So it does, like I said, it runs, drives, all that, but we don't have any gauges. So that's the main importance, getting that shit to connect. I hear clunking up front. I don't like that, but just need to get it backed up. There you go. Shut her down. All right, so there you guys go. It is, I forget what year. I think he said it was an 05. A little slap on the steering. So once we get all of the electrical problems and electrical gremlins out of this thing, then we'll be able to wire everything up. We'll be able to drive it on the road, make sure everything is good, verify oil pressure, verify, we got to wire up the coolant temp sensor and the oil pressure sensor. So those are the two main things. But we should still have voltage and fuel. So those two should at least be working. And then we can also focus on getting the tack, the tone ring. I need to move the crank sensor a little bit closer to that, but that's pretty much going to do it for you guys. I am at this point going to be driving home in the rain because I only have the bike today, because, I mean, why the hell not? Raining, raining, raining. Damn, it's... For getting ready to ride the bike, it's raining pretty hard. So we get home. It's Sunday right now, so it's a lazy Sunday, but I figured I'll come in here and work on that because I kind of needed to, because I was going to go OTR and now I'm not. I'm doing local stuff. So nice to get some customer work out of the way, and if we can get that thing done, that's a really bad case scenario with electrical. I think I fixed 14 wires. 14 is what I counted. And it still is given the same issue. So it's one of those, it is a time-consuming little task. If you guys ever have shit like that, I mean, if you guys have ever dealt with electrical stuff, you guys understand. But it's cleaned up, it's good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want to, what else you guys want to see. We're going over back out tomorrow to go drop something off. I think it's like Pulaski or Pulaski, PA. I don't even know at this point. So we're picking up early morning in Shippensburg, and then we're headed to Tennessee. I'm gonna clean up and work while I talk to you guys. We're headed to Tennessee Tuesday night, Wednesday morning to go pick up the Dakota. The Dakota we did have to pay for in cash, so I went to go get a loan. Figure at the end of this video, let's explain a couple things to you guys. So I spent the last couple years running this business cash. You got what I mean, no credit. So no credit. So I'm never really able to build the business up. But now we're at the point where we're fixing our credit. I got my credit score up to a 609 is what I believe it's at right now, which, you know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not going to get me anything. But we need to keep getting it higher and higher so I can go get a new truck so I can make more money. Now, thing is, I have, we're going to talk finances here at this, in this port. I understand some guys don't like that. I don't care, because there's a lot of guys that do like when we talk finances on the channel. So I've gotten, I'd like to say about 20,000 sitting in crypto in a wallet that I'm not going to be touching for the longest time. I'm waiting until maybe we get a better president and we get a better economy and everything blows up again. And so I'm just putting $25 to that every single day, just setting that aside. I'm owed about $12,000 right now from a couple different customers. Like, everybody added up, I'm owed about 12 grand right now. And then between our savings and all the other bullshit, I mean, we're sitting pretty. We're doing all right. We're not struggling. But I don't want to be using my savings or any of my other money to be paying the bills. So I'm still trying to come up with that like 8 grand a month now at this point, plus the lease. So it's like we're up to almost $10,000 just to break even every month. That includes, you know, throwing the $25 aside every day. But all in all, my point is, I've done everything that I can with running a business without using credit. Now, we need to get credit. So, we're going to use some credit. We're going to get a truck. We're going to get a trailer at some point, but that is in due time. We're going to keep running the leases right now. We're going to be swapping out. We got another truck that's going to be replacing the Ford here soon, which is going to be pretty cool, so I'll be able to do some comparisons for you guys. I'm not going to let you know what we got yet, but that's it. So if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, feel free, send me a message, links down below. Go check out Mudflap, save yourself some money, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys. Peace.